Hey, what's up, guys? This is Rich again for another edition of Learning with Rich. Right, so in this lesson, in this topic, so we're going to talk about this time Revit structure topics. Okay, it's been a while since I last created an exercise for Revit structure model. Okay, so you can open any Revit structure model that you have. So in this exercise, I'm going to teach you how to create a schedule. So let's say, for example, we're going to create a footing and pier schedules. Okay, I actually already have a topic for schedule, but this one is for structural. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do it. All right, so first of all, so the schedule that we are going to create is for our footing schedule. Okay, so as you can see, going to my top of footing level, so I have this footing, right? So this footing, so footing. So if I want to select all the footing, so I just click one, right click, select all instances visible in view. So you will notice it will highlight all the footings in this view. So total of 46 footings. Now, what I'm going to do before I start creating the footing, I'm going to add the property to my footing. So let's say I'm going to call this F1. Okay, so I'm not going to use the mark here because this is what we call the instance properties. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the edit type here to open the type properties. Okay, so there's the type mark that I need. So I'm going to key in here. Let's say I'm going to call this F for footing. So F dash 1. Okay, so this property F dash 1 will not only be applied into this selected element, but it will apply to all 1067 by 1067 by 305 mm footing rectangular. So meaning this footing, this footing, this footing, as long as they are on the same type, their type mark will becomes F1 because I have placed the parameters in the type properties. Okay, so any editing or values that you add here, it will reflect to the type, not only to the selected element. All right, okay, so type mark F-1. I'll just select here, okay. So you will notice if I'm going to click this one, since they are the same, so if I'm going to select edit type here, you will notice it becomes F-1 also because they are just the same type. All right. So it's not that difficult. So if I click this one, check the type, you can see it's F1. Right, so let us now go to our properties, to schedules. So to create a schedule, so for example, for my footing schedule, so from the schedules quantities here, I'm going to right click and then I'm going to select new schedule quantities. Just click that one. Okay. So from here, so you need to select the category that you want for your schedule. Okay. So for this one, if you want, I am going to close this first. I'm going to select this. I'm going to click one footing. So it's structural foundation. So that is the type of this one. So it's a structural foundation family. So this is where I'm going to base the schedule. So I'm going to right click this. I'm going to create schedule. And then I'm going to look for a structural foundation. All right. Just click that. And then for the name, let me just call this footing schedule. Schedule. All right. And then I'll just select here, okay. Now for this, we already have one parameter in mind, which is the type mark. So you just need to double click this. So it will be placed here. Now, so we want another parameter. So let's say, for example, the parameter that you want is not available on these fields. So what you can do is you can click this icon here. You can create a new parameter. Just click that one. Let's say I'm going to call this reinforcing. Reinforcing. So this reinforcing, I'm going to place it on the type properties. For the type of parameter, so I'm going to select here text. So I can type a text on my reinforcing. Right? So I'm not going to change the group parameter under. I'll just leave it as it is. Okay. So I'll just select OK. There you go. Okay. And then after that, if I select here OK, it will now show you the footing schedule. But let me just change this one. So instead of type mark, let me just call it mark. All right. And then enter. Now, I'm going to do some editing on my schedule. I don't want to look my schedule like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select here the filter. I'm going to filter it based on type mark. Don't worry, even if I change the name here, the field of that is still type mark. So I'm going to select the type mark and I'm going, instead of equals, so I'm going to select here contains f dash. Okay, f dash. So so that if we have f dash 2, it will be included also to the schedule, to the footing schedule. So I'm not going to be specific as f dash 1. So I'm not going to do that. So just f dash. All right. So if I select here OK, you will notice it's now sort based on the mark, on the type mark. Okay. But if I have 1000 F1 structural foundation, it will also show here 1000. So you can just imagine your schedule will becomes very long, right? So you don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select here, edit, sorting, grouping. All right. And from here, I'm going to sort it by type mark. Okay. You just need to uncheck this one because at the moment it is itemized. So I'm just going to uncheck this. Then I'll just select here. Okay. There you go. Now for some notes for the reinforcing. So let me just add here at 3 numbers, number sign 3 at 310. Yeah, or any notes that you want to put. And then you just need to press enter. So what will happen is this one, it will be applied to this type of family. This change will be applied to all elements of type, this one. So you just need to select OK. So going back to my top of footing, so you will notice it's highlighted since I selected that to the schedule. If I'm going to click one of the structural foundation and then I check the edit type, so as you can see, that's now the type mark, right? And then there's the reinforcing that we have created, okay? Remember, we created this parameter, we added this to our schedule, and then we selected type. That's why it's inside the type. Because if you are going to use instance, this reinforcement, this reinforcing, if you select instance, it will be placed here. This is the instance properties. This is the type properties. Okay? So if I want my reinforcing to be grouped under identity data, what I can do is I can go to the manage, I can go to the project parameters. There's the reinforcing. I can modify that. I can still change the group here. So let's say I want to place that under identity data group. So I just select that one. As you can see, that is type. So I select here OK. I select here OK. Now, if I click structural foundation, I check the type properties. As you can see, it's now under identity data group, right? Okay. So the next thing that you need to do after you create the schedule, you also want to create a new sheet. So right click the sheets here and then select new sheet. Okay, this is the best practice. Okay, and then I'll just use the A1 metric. Okay, there you go. So let us just rename this one, right? So I just need to rename that one. So let's say I'm going to call this S301. This is my schedules. Okay. This is what you do after you do the modeling. You create the schedule. Even if you only do part of the modeling, you can already create a schedule. Okay. And don't worry, your schedule, like for example, our structural foundation, if you create another structural foundation with different type, it will be added automatically to the schedule. All right. Okay, then this is now the sheet. So where's my schedule? So this is the schedule, the footing schedule. So I'm just going to drag and drop it here. There you go. So there's my footing schedule. You just need to resize that one. Okay. So if you add another structural foundation, it will be added here on the footing schedule. Don't worry. Automatically, it will populate. Okay, so that's our footing schedule. Now, the next schedule is we're going to create a peer schedule. Actually, it's almost the same as the footing schedule. It's just we are going to add additional information. All right, so let's get started. So from the top of footing, so I'm going to click one peer, this one. So again, the type of that is structural column. Okay, but I'm going to select that. I'm going to select edit. Again, for the type mark, this time I'm going to call it P-1. So this P-1, again, it will be, this parameter is for this type. So if you have 100 column with this type, so all the type mark of that will become P-1. All right, so I'll just select here. Okay, there you go. So I think this one is the same type. Yeah, so it's the same type. So you will notice if I edit type, it's already updated. Okay, then after we modify, so let us now create our schedule. Right click, new schedule quantities. You look for, what's that? Structural columns. Okay, and then let me just change the name. Pier is schedule. Okay, there you go. Okay, again, I'm going to use the type mark. Type mark. There you go. Double click that to be added here. Type comments. Double click. All right. So again, let's say for example, the parameter that you want is not here. You want to create a parameter wherein you can type a text for information. So you can click this one, new parameter. Okay, let's say for example, this is my peer size. Again, for the type of parameter, let me just use text. It should be type. Let me change the group here. I'm going to select identity data and then I select OK. There you go. Let me just move this up. All right. And then OK. There you go. Okay. So there's my P1. Now let us try to filter this one again. So you know that already. You go to the filter. You select here peer type mark contains P-1 and then sort. Let us do it one shot. Sort by type mark, itemize every instance. We do not want to itemize it because your schedule will be very long and it will not fit to your sheet. Although you can resize it, but that is not the best practice to do that. So make sure you uncheck this and then okay. There you go. So instead of type mark, let me just modify this. Call it mark. So instead of type marks, type comments, I'm gonna key in here comments. Enter. Now for the peer size, you can key in there the size that you want. So let's say this is for my 762 by 762 for the comments. Okay, just need to select OK here. No problem. For the comment, you can put whatever comment that you want. Let's say this is my number sign 3 at Whatever size is that, enter. Okay, again, it will be applied to all these types. 762 by 762, it's okay. There you go. So again, just to check, again, it's highlighted. So I'm going to click one, edit type. There you go. Type comments, pure size, type mark. Okay, if I click this, edit type, type comments, type mark, pure size, right? Because they're just under one type. So after we create the schedule, the next thing that we are going to do is we're now going to add that to our sheets. Okay, so I'm gonna open the schedule here, the sheets. Okay, and then where's my schedule? Pure schedule. Just drag that. Let me just align it like this. Again, you can resize that. All right. Okay. And like what I have said earlier, every time you add your structural column or structural foundation, your schedule here will be updated. Just make sure to make your detailing or the schedule neat and proper. Make sure you add the mark, the reinforcing. You just put the comments or any information that you created to your schedule. All right. So this is what I'm talking about. So let's say, for example, I'm going to create another structural foundation. So I'm going to click this one, right click. I'm going to create similar, but I'm not going to use the same type. So let's say I'm going to select here this type. Okay. And then I'm going to place it here. I'll just place as an example. Okay. Just place one here. And then I select here modify. Then after that, I'm going to select the structural foundations. I just edit the type, and then you can put a type mark here. So let's say that is your F-2 reinforcing. You can put details here, then okay. Right? So same with my columns. I'm going to click this, right click, create similar. Okay, but I'm not going to use that same type. I'll use other type. Let's say this one. Okay. Oops. No good. How about... Okay, let me just copy this one because the settings of that is not yet set. So let me just copy. Let me just copy one here. Copy another one here. All right. But I'm going to change the type. I'm going to change the type of this. Let's say this one. All right. And then you click this. Make sure you add the details for the type comment. So put details. Okay. So put the details. Put the details. And then let's say that this is my P dash, oops, P dash 2. Okay. So if you go now to your schedule here, to the sheets, so it's updated, right? Oh, ho, ho, wait. Why is it this one didn't update it? So let me just go ahead and open. There must be something wrong with the putting filter. Oh, okay. It's because of this. So instead of P-1, just put P dash. And then I select here OK. There you go. So it's now added. Go to the sheets. It's now added, right? All right. So basically, that's how you play with the schedule in Revit Structure 2018. That's how you make your project neatly done. All right. So again, you can already create a schedule while the model is not yet there. Or after you create the model, you can create the schedule. Or you can create part of the model and then you can create the schedule. And as you create the model, you will notice the schedule will populate automatically. All right. So this is hopefully this has been helpful to you guys. If you have any comments, suggestions, as always, just put it in the comment section below and then I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Don't forget to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. Once again, this is Rich. Have a nice day.